that. Some of our guests are public speakers. And he gave it to us. So the one that,
Can you guys hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you.
Thank you. Sorry.
No problem.
You're forgiven for now.
Thanks. Lori,
Yes.
Rick,
Here.
Bridget,
Here.
Tom, Brett,
Here.
Chad,
Here.
Whitney.
Here. All right, we need a motion to adopt the agenda. Is there any changes to the agenda?
There are none. Motion to approve as is.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Go ahead, Karen.
Rick,
Yes.
Bridget,
Yes.
Tom, Brett,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Whitney,
Yes.
Lori.
Yes. Stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Ms. McIntosh, do you want to read the district vision and mission?
Southeast Polk Community School District, learn, lead, live, success for college, career, and civic life, engage all students in learning and challenging curriculum delivered through quality instruction.
Very good. All right, moving on to public comments. First, we're going to bring up Mr. Tom Cook in regards to the Special Olympics recognition.
Good evening.
Hello.
Hi. Hello.
Come on in here up front. Welcome. Come on in so you can all see. We'll make room for you. Come on. You might want a picture or something.
All right. Hey, good evening. My name's Tom Cook, PE teacher, wrestling coach in the district. Probably most proud to say, though, that I'm one of the coaches for the Special Olympics athletes that we're going to recognize here. So first off, thank you, school board, for inviting us here tonight. Appreciate you recognizing some of, maybe I'm a little biased, but best students in Southeast Polk. These kids are kind of what makes SEP great. So parents, thank you for sharing your children with us, allowing them to be part of an awesome opportunity. Great program. You know, myself, the other staff, we couldn't be more proud of how hard they worked, prepared for the regional and state bowling competitions. Each of these kids here tonight, you know, the ones that were unable to make it, you know, awesome individuals. You know, it's truly a privilege to work with them. So obviously, I'm not really good at talking, so I'll be done here. But let's recognize some of the athletes, and not all of them were able to make it. But from Spring Creek, we have Tice Deal, state champ. Tice, give us a wave. There you go. We also had Jessa, Kelly, and Cherith Supernani, but they were unable to make it tonight. Representing our high school, a few individuals were unable to make it. We had Tatum Lang, Lauren Novi, Justin was able to make it. Justin. Brandon Whitrock was unable to make it. And then our place winners coming in 8th place, we had Annie Laudermilch. Annie, good job, Annie. 6th place, Drew Bartles. Drew, attaboy. 4th place was Autumn Olam. Autumn wasn't able to make it tonight. 3rd place, Jenica Peditori. Jenica. And then we had some state champs recognized here. State champ Callie Logan. Her sister Therese supporting her. State champ Jacob Dodson. We had a few other state champs who were unable to make it. William Zemet, Easton Shimming, and Gunnar Butanani were some of our other state champs from the high school. So I think that that rounds up all of our Special Olympics state medalists and competitors. So how about one big round of applause for these guys and gals again. All right.
Can we take a picture with them? Yep.
All right. Hey, smile big.
He's the tall one.
Right here, Justin.
Everybody look at near me. Ready? Smile. Smile, that's right. 1, 2, 3. Get back a little bit. Great. You guys are doing great. One more. 1, 2, 3. Smile. Nice. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Congratulations. We're so proud of you.
Nice. Good job, buddy. Congratulations.
Good job, guys.
Want to say that? Back up to-
Good job.
Coach Hamilton, good job.
All right, next up, we're gonna call up the Southeast Polk Education Foundation Awards presentation to be recognized.
They did. Good job, kid.
She needs Kleenex.
All right, good evening, board, community, and those watching online. My name is Maggie Crabb, and I'm president of the Southeast Polk Education Foundation. The last time I was at a Southeast Polk School Board meeting in regard to the Education Foundation, it was fall of 2014, and Tom Haddon was before the board presenting the need for our organization within the school district. We've come a long way since that time, establishing what we like to think of as the Booster Club for education within the Southeast Polk community. We are well known for our fundraising events, the Black and Gold Gala and the Rams Classic, which I think just about everybody here has been to. So thank you for supporting those. And but the mission of our organization is in line with yours to ensure that all Southeast Polk students receive a world-class education. With our amazing community partners, Polk County, Prairie Meadows, and Meta, and in collaboration with Southeast Polk Dollars for Scholars, and our community, we raise funds and award grants to innovative teachers for projects that are outside of the general funding stream. The Southeast Polk Education Foundation recently awarded $12,270 to Southeast Polk teachers and staff across the district as innovation grants for 2022. Congratulations to the following teachers and staff. Denise Sculling, Spring Creek. She was awarded $1,275 for the purchase of supplemental science materials to enhance core curriculum. Tammy Steenhook from 4 Mile Elementary for the English Learning Program for books, bilingual books, to engage students with their families at home for supplemental learning. James Pfeiffer for Project Lead the Way for the purchase of aquaponics supplies and systems in various buildings to further STEM curriculum for $700. Stephen McCoy at the high school for the purpose of a coolant pump kit for a Haas CNC milling machine used in metalworking courses. That was $1,295. Penny Watkin at Spring Creek Tag Program for the purchase to afford students the chance to supplement units in tag program with dissecting and coding. Last year, we gave them sheep brains. And this year we gave them $3,500 for that project. Marty Heithoff at Willowbrook for the purchase of binoculars and field guides to expand bird observation programs and to further students' social and emotional health. for $1,000. Sorry, this one hits home, especially for the kids that we just got to cheer on. Amy Olson at Willowbrook Elementary, for the purpose of creating a sensory path to help develop motor skills, hand-eye coordination, and spatial awareness, as well as provide students an indoor place for a brain break to channel excess energy. And that was $3,500. So, sorry guys. We love what we do and we love raising funds for our schools. So thank you all for your support. On behalf of the Southeast Polk Education Foundation and with fellow board member Megan Hoffman here tonight, and Bridget as well, who's on our board, we'd like to present a check to you and your creative, empathetic, hardworking, and innovative teachers for $12,270. And I don't know the exact numbers, but I know Kevin has them, not right now on the spot. But last year we were over $300,000. And not only do we give out grants, but we help facilitate funds. Rick, thank you for helping us write grants. Lori, thank you too. So we've got a check, but you can't have it, you can't keep it because we're so cheap that we're gonna dry erase and use it again. So anyway, because we really do a lot with those funds that our community gives us. So thank you guys.
Thank you for raising the funds. There.
Don't block Brad.
Please
Calm down a little bit. Guys. You're good.
Everybody ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Let's do one more. 1, 2, 3. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, you guys. If I hadn't moved earlier, that would have been the case. All right, we're gonna go to public comments, and I'm gonna read the public comment statement. The board recognizes the value of public observation and hearing from individuals on school district matters. It is also important that the board be able to conduct its meetings in an orderly and efficient manner, free from outside interference. Citizens wishing to address the board will need to complete a public comment card prior to the meeting and give it to the superintendent. The public comments cards are located on a table at the entrance of the meeting. Speakers will normally be limited to 3 minutes for an individual and 5 minutes for an individual representing a group. However, these time limits may be modified if the pressure of business or other circumstances dictate. The board president will recognize individuals to make their comments at the appropriate time during public comment. When addressing the board, state your name and group name if applicable, address, city, and agenda item to be addressed. During public comment, the role of the board is to listen. Therefore, board members will only receive comments and will not respond to questions or otherwise engage in discussion with speakers. Speakers who make comments are responsible for their own statements and may be subject to legal action for those which are threatening or defamatory in nature. It is expected that speakers will address the board and each other with civility. Aside from recognized speakers during public comment, the role of the public is limited to observing the proceedings of the board. Public observation does not include participation. The board has a significant interest in maintaining the decorum of its meetings. Any individual who does not abide by these rules or otherwise disrupts the meeting may be asked to leave and or referred to law enforcement. So we have 2 speakers this evening so far. We're going to call up James Armstrong, please. Welcome to the board.
Thank you. Dear board members, I'm talking today in reference to an incident that happened at Clay Elementary School on Friday around 9 a.m. My son and 2 other students were in music class when one of the students stated that he was going to bring a knife to school on Monday and stab them in the chest to kill them at recess time. This child has been bullying my son all year. We've asked him to try to ignore him. After meeting with the principal and assistant superintendent, the current safety plan they have come up with is to have the other students' parents look for weapons before sending the child to school, and to have the child open his backpack and pull the contents of his pockets out upon arrival at school, and then try to distance the kids in class and while out on the playground. I believe this is a ridiculous solution to a threat of murdering 2 children in an elementary school at Southeast Polk School District. The safety plan to keep them separated would be fitting if they were shoving each other and name calling, but we are way past that. This is a hostile school environment for my son, who is fearful of being killed at school. My son is afraid to attend Clay Elementary with the other student at the school. This is now the 3rd knife stabbing threat, including the incident a couple months ago where the child had a knife on the playground, threatening students. After speaking with the superintendent, I believe we have a plan that will keep my child and the other child that made the threats as distant as possible in the same building. I still believe this child is a danger to all Clay Elementary students and should be removed from the environment where he has had so many issues. But I was told that he lives in Clay's boundaries and has the right to attend school closest to where he lives. Shouldn't have to order my son a kid-sized armored vest that will protect him from knife wounds, or put him in a training class that teaches him how to disarm an armed assailant just to safely attend to Southeast Polk's elementary school. I requested a report of the incident without any students' names listed, which was denied by the assistant superintendent because of privacy issues. I think a reasonable resolution of this would be for the other child to receive some counseling. As for my child, he should be able to receive an education in an environment where he feels safe, with the other child moved to a different school. But I'm told that is not an option because it's unfair to the child that made the threat. I'd also, as a resolution, I'd like to receive a copy of the incident with the names removed to protect the child's privacy. I understand that, but there's no reason I shouldn't have a copy of the incident that happened. And I include the safety plan that was given. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next public comment is from Greg Lyons.
Greg Lyons, Runnels. I smiled at the beginning of your discussion last week or last meeting about what information you could get out to the people about the upcoming vote. Well, the vote was last November. And I cheered Tuesday when the governor signed the bill into law. What I could not understand was why this group as a whole sounded surprised. Up until the pandemic, I had been a substitute teacher for nearly 20 years in Southeast Polk and other districts. I sat here and watched you change amendments 3 times to mask elementary school students against parents' wishes and even against the recommendation of the only doctor on your board. I've taught many classes which would take only one side of an argument, starting with Al Gore's Inconvenient Truth, and no counter to the global warming, even though there are countless studies showing that no global warming has existed, at least in the last 18 years. I recently taught a class in the last 2 weeks, not at Southeast Polk, but I believe you have the same 3rd grade writing manual. Why are 3rd graders required to write a paper entitled How to Pick a Cause? And every one of the topics were left-leaning, such as climate change, animal rights, and the environment. These subjects are not being taught with the idea of introducing critical thinking. There's no opposing view. It is indoctrination, clear and simple, and you're doing it to 3rd graders. Speaking of teachers, you lost one of your best kindergarten teachers a year or so ago when she got no support after being assaulted and injured by one of her students. Sounds like a young man that was just up here talking about his son. I subbed for her on or next door to her more than a dozen times, and she is now gracing another school district with her abundant skill set. I have nothing against mainstreaming, but you must protect the teachers and other students first. clearing a room of all nonviolent students and interrupting those children's learning is just nuts. And parents know it. My last point. I have in my hand an article, a couple articles actually, by Lawrence Wilson, a reporter from the Tennessee Star, and there's lots of other information out there. There's much more written than this short article. And it would be well worth your time to research it. Mr. Wilson shows that 77,000 new students started public school in the fall of 2020.
Your time is up. Thank you for your
I'm
time.
on my last one. However, 1.4 million failed to show up at the schoolhouse doors. For example, Indianapolis has 46,000 capacity, 28,000 present. Denver is looking at a $9 million shortfall, and that doesn't count the CARES Act funding is about to expire.
Thank you.
I hope you all have enough time to research some of this stuff. I gotta go to that.
All right, moving on to the consent agenda. I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll move that we approve the consent agenda.
I need a second.
Second it.
Very good. I need to make a comment, and that is, once again, I think we have some early retirement staff, and I just want to say that their time and their years with Southeast Polk are very much appreciated. Does anybody else have any comments? They will be greatly missed. Go ahead, Karen.
Bridget,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Whitney,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
All right, moving on to section 3, old and new business. Item A. I'm going to call the public hearing, call the agenda item, note the time of 5:53 p.m. I will now open the public hearing to receive comments on the plans and specs for the roof repair project. Board Secretary, have you received any written comments? Right. If there's anyone present wishing to provide comments, please come to the podium. All right, seeing none, we're going to close the public hearing at 5:53 p.m. and move on to item B, approve the architects for building and grounds warehouse and bus parking lot expansion projects. Need a motion?
Motion to approve the architect for warehouse grounds and bus parking.
Second that.
Thank you. Any discussion? Go ahead, Karen.
Brett,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Whitney,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Bridget,
Yes. All right, moving on to item C, the 8th Street and Falcon Drive water main potholing project.
Good evening, board. This project is actually for the roadways for the 6-7 construction site. This particular agreement is for potholing, which from layman's terms is trying to locate those utilities that are underground that we don't want to disturb as we're doing our construction work on the roadways. We have been talking with the city, our engineer was.
Can I stop you a minute
Sure.
and just have a make a motion for this?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, you okay. Can I get a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you.
We have been discussing this with the city back in late November, early December. We thought we were incorporated with their potholing surveyor or engineer had that in place, and we were told here late January, mid-January, that we were no longer part of that discussion. So we're doing this outside of them. We're doing it for our purpose for the roadways coming down 8th Street, and it has to be done.
Okay. And that amounts to like 25,000.
Just under 13,000.
Okay, all right. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. McCom?
Yeah, I guess I thought we were doing this in conjunction with the city. So why are we doing this on our own? I guess
So we thought we were, because there's some synergy in that, right? As far as mobilization for those potholing, the company that does that. But we were told at the end, just a few weeks ago, that our potholes, our engineer discovered that we weren't part of that based on what had been done. So going down that road, we still need to have them done. So that's why we're going on our own to do what we need to do from the school district standpoint.
So as not to delay the movement of
Correct.
utilities, correct?
Well, I get that, but I thought as far as cost sharing, so how does this play in the part
This
of
is
cost? sharing?
separate from that, this potholing piece, but there, we do have a 28E agreement in place as far as the construction of the roadways. But this piece is outside of that, this is owner costs subject to that construction project.
Yeah, I guess I don't understand the whole piece, but I guess when you mutual share or something, a project, I thought all the costs were,
Yeah, so these are 6 potholes for the school district on our side of the roadways. I don't remember the number of potholes for the city, but they've done their potholing. So this
is on the north side of 8th Street.
This is on north and south and trying to find the water sewer sanitary line.
You don't know where that's at?
I think it's a matter of depth and all that. I'm not,
Yeah. Okay, I guess. Seems kind of funny they wouldn't know where their water lines are at, but I guess. Yeah. Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you. Any other comments? Karen?
Chad,
Yes.
Whitney,
Yes.
Lori,
Yes.
Rick,
Yes.
Bridget,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
All right, moving on to topics for discussion. We've got item A, the Prairie Meadows Community Betterment Grants up first.
I'll step in for this. Mr. Horton is not feeling well tonight. So you have at your spot a spreadsheet that has those 5 applications there. And I'm going to work off of Joe's talking points. On the grid provided, you'll see 2 types of grants: community betterment and youth sports and recreation. And we have both of those grant varieties represented. The total ask is just about $147,000 with an impact positively on more than 3,000 students. This year, there are 5 exceptional grant projects. None are necessarily better than the others, but Prairie Meadows requires that we prioritize them. And so you can see they're all there. They're listed alphabetical by school. And I would be happy to try and answer some of these questions. Joe also asked that if you had specific questions to email him or give him a call when he's back in the office, hopefully tomorrow. And he can help fill you in with that. This will come back later in the month for a formal vote. These are just the 5 that were turned in following all the guidelines.
And I believe all Prairie Meadows grants are due by February 24th, if I'm not mistaken. So.
How does this compare to last year or previous years as far as like dollar amount?
That'll be one I'll have to push to Joe. It feels like it's about in the ballpark of where it's been the last several years.
On the Southeast Country course, some of that course improvement, is this different than what we've already?
Yes, these are things outside of anything that would have been affected by the stadium project.
Okay, and all that stuff's done or will be
Or-
done?
yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Yep.
so this is just different.
Right.
Okay.
Different improvements.
Do you know what kind of signage and amenities are included in that?
I think like mile markers and things on the course for both the runners and spectators. Along with that, I think some things at the finish line also to spruce that up is what I understand. But again, those specifics I would direct to Joe.
Okay.
Any other? Okay, moving on to capital projects update, Mr. Haynes.
Good evening, members of the board. Before you, you have this copy that shows our projects and projected projects in the future as well. A lot of this will include our HVAC controls at Delaware, 4 Mile and Reynolds. and the cost associated with that. That's because those controls are no longer made. They're outdated. They've been in those buildings for quite some time. And as they go bad, we have no replacements for them without doing major upgrades. So that'll eliminate that problem for now and in the future as well. Money's been budgeted or set aside for the 4-mile drop off and pickup lane. Restrooms at Willowbrook and Centennial for the remodels and upgrades there for this summer.
Does that
And
include
dollar
flushing
prices-
toilets and sinks?
Pardon?
Does that include flushing toilets and sinks?
Automatic.
Automatic, sorry. They
Yeah.
already have
We're not
flushing.
using buckets anymore.
Good. Step up there in the restrooms.
It'll include new sinks for Willowbrook and all flushables, automatic flushers, and not only in the toilet fixtures themselves, but also for the sinks as well. Sinks will be replaced. Carpet replacements at Delaware and Centennial and the dollar amount associated with that for this summer. 4-mile elementary garage demolition. It's in pretty sore shape at this point in time. And it's somewhat of a hiding place for playgrounds that are right there next to it as well. So we want to eliminate that and clean up that entire area to expand on future growth. Door repairs and replacements throughout the district. They take a beating. We've got hundreds and hundreds of doors throughout the district, if not thousands. So this is going through and making sure that they're all safe and functioning properly, and those that need replaced are replaced this summer as well. So it's a safety security issue as well. So it's some of it is underway now because it's deemed necessary now. Centennial, we have some concrete replacement on the east side that's deteriorated pretty drastically. That's the associated cost with that. At the junior high, we have insulate and wrap HVAC rooftop units. There's 3 of them on the roof. When those air handling units were put in, they had, instead of the duct going from it down into the building, it comes out of that unit, goes across above the roof, and then into the side of the building. Those seams are mostly taped at that time. When they did that install, that tape is pretty much wore out, and now we're losing, causing leaks in those areas as well right now. So the insulate and wrap will be very beneficial for energy cost avoidance and more efficient running of that part, plus the leaks for future leaks that we would have because of the way it's set up right now. Floor repairs and replacements, we're looking at more of the Mondo flooring, I call it, the composite type flooring like you have in your gymnasiums and cafeterias. Some of it's exceeded its life. So we're looking at repairs and some replacements at Centennial, Clay, 4-mile, Mitchellville, and Reynolds, and the approximate cost that would go with that. That's pretty much the major big ones we have for this summer. There's always the small things that we repair as we go as well.
So this is a little over $1 million. Any of this we have to take out for bid?
No, not at this time. no.
So this is stuff we can start on the day school gets out and get it done before we go back into school.
Most of it, there's a time frame this summer that it shouldn't be a problem.
I'm guessing there's a chance on that 4-mile drop off lane that we may have, as I look at that dollar amount.
Okay.
We'll probably have to go through the
Yes.
bid process.
And what about that building envelope update?
That's
Or
part
you
of the roof
bid.
project
Okay,
that that was
okay.
part of the public hearing today.
All right.
Yeah, I didn't explain that. That's just dollar amount
That's
set
all
aside
right.
for those projects.
Just so it gets done. All right.
On the 4-mile drop off, that's the parent drop off. That's not the bus one that is on the north.
I think combining
Correct. Yeah, the parent.
the
It,
parent.
it would
drop.
connect off of the first roundabout on the park side drive, north-south to the east parking lot.
Because parents are on the east side now, right?
Yep.
So it'll
Yep, so it'll queue up there. And that one is subject to, there's a traffic study being
okay.
done with Polk County and Pleasant Hill. And so what comes out of that at that intersection of 68th and 6th will determine what that potentially looks like. So that one's still kind of to be determined based on the results of that traffic study.
Yeah, and I guess that was part of the thing is whether that, how that would play into that traffic study as far as, and then I know, remember we did some land swap with the city of Pleasant Hill to change that so they could do that. Does that, was that worth doing, I take it then, by being able to add this lane in there? Or did we have enough land to begin with?
I think it's part of that right where it was. So yeah, I think this helps make that possible.
Okay, and that doesn't interfere with any future growth or anything that we may have to do? Or
Yeah, it runs parallel to 68th and
to the street
kind of over
there.
yeah.
Okay. And then just, obviously, we received an email on some concerns at Willowbrook with the bathroom, but just for the record, I mean, those are, and I appreciate everybody's comments because they're concerned about those. But just for the public's understanding, those are on a rotation. You know, the bathrooms, we've been fixing the bathrooms for
Years.
yeah, it seems like we did Altoona's
We had that
a while ago.
underway, during the COVID era, and then it kind of got put back because of, well, there was a period of time when our employees were not in the buildings. So that's when it kind of changed everything for us.
Yeah, what I mean, it's kind of like the 5-year plan we have, depending on the age of the school, because
We do what we've got money for.
and I think it's well noted that, you know, Willowbrook, it was built in 91 or 90-ish, somewhere like that.
91.
You know, it's not the oldest school, but it's not the newest either. And it obviously, it's time for it. And because, you know, I know Altoona, which is the oldest, it had the original, you know, ceramic, well, it wasn't even ceramic. It was probably some kind of, you know, mud and water, you know, packed together to make it look like some kind of.
Look good, didn't it?
But
no, we've gone through a lot of changes. You're right. I mean, from what we were when I started 22 years ago to where we're at today is you wouldn't recognize anything.
So on that, I just want to just acknowledge that, you know, appreciate the emails and the concerns, and it's rightfully so. We want to make sure we get these updated, but we do have plans in rotations, and depending on the years of the buildings and stuff, that eventually they'll get there. They just obviously with time. So
address the worst ones first.
Yeah.
We had this underway before the emails came. So it just wasn't out there for everybody's knowledge at that time. I was just compiling information.
The staff and students at Willowbrook will be very thankful.
Yep.
Now, will that consist of, because I know like the laminate on the sinks were pretty bad. Will that be like new sinks, tile?
Yes, the countertops and sinks that are there will come out, and we'll have sinks that match what we have in our other elementaries that would go in there, and there'll be a lower height
Good.
to accommodate everybody. Some of them are that big. So this will help them reach things a lot easier for them too, even though they're automatic faucets, we have to be able to reach it to turn it on. So
Yeah, and I can bring this up with there's some issues with the automatic flushers, so that's why I wasn't like overly concerned about flushers when it comes to safety plans, which obviously we can't talk about our safety plan in public, but which I'll bring up some of the concerns.
we still have a battery backup.
But well,
If the power goes off,
yeah,
you'll still be able to use them.
yeah. So I think that was all I had.
You can email your questions because this is just a discussion item. So
Well, that's why we discuss them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Appreciate that.
Are these all projects that we'll have completed this next summer?
Yes, this coming summer.
Okay.
Prior to school starting.
And will that include the drop off pickup lane, or is that depend
No,
on?
that's just out for considerations on what should be done. That's money set aside, so it'll be there budgeted for when that time.
We're kind of at the mercy of the traffic study and what
Yeah.
happens there.
Okay.
So as soon as that's.
It all looks like it's stuff that we need to do. Is there anything that didn't make the list that you think is, I mean, you've got the future needs, but that's pretty generic. Is there anything that's like, I guess, next up that you feel like is a high
There's always
priority?
things,
You can get the memo.
you know, we're always reevaluating every year, find the immediate things we have to take care of.
One of the things that I'd interject there is that future needs list used to be the rest of this page and then another page. And with the referendum, we checked off many, many boxes. And also with doing this over a series of the last decade or so, thanks to the like 1 cent sales tax and PEPAL and some of those things that we've been fortunate enough to be able to take care of some of these. So it's kind of like a good news thing, and that we've checked a lot off. But as Gary's saying, new things emerge all the time.
Yeah, sure.
There's things we aren't even thinking about right now that'll probably be on this list next year. When we do this.
Is this like phase 20?
Probably.
At least.
Yeah.
The market purchase home has been on the list for 16 years, so.
Kind of like
FYI.
football stadium for 20.
Yeah, 20 for the football stadium. Anyway, I'm gonna move you guys along, okay?
The statue of Lori has been taken
Yeah,
off. just so you know.
yeah.
Yeah, that'll.
It's
that
always
kinda-
on the list.
That didn't make the cut again this year.
Never. Dang it.
Are there any other questions I can answer?
I'm done discussing it with you.
Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Go
Thank
away,
you.
Gary.
Thank
All
you
right.
Thanks,
very much.
Gary.
Mid-year goals
Gary.
report, please.
Good evening, board. Here tonight to provide a mid-year glimpse at where we are in our district improvement plan. We're frequently checking on our goals and monitoring information. And at the end of the year, we'll have a much more comprehensive report. But just wanted to do a mid-year check-in to provide you some information on progress towards the goals. So you can see here, these reminder of our district goals. We have a goal area in early literacy, the academic core, college and career readiness, as well as climate and culture. First, we'll talk about early literacy, and that is looking at, our goal is for that end of third grade literacy, and this is one of the state requirements that we've worked on. And this is a compilation of our FAST data, the early literacy benchmarks that are given for grades K through 3. And this is given in the fall, the winter, and the spring. So a composite score in the fall was at 64% of the students met the benchmark. And mid-year, that goal increased to 6%. Last year at this time, we had increased at 3%. So got a little bit more acceleration in the growth, moving towards our goal of 80%. One thing that I want to mention is that because of the age K3, the expectations are higher in the winter and the spring. So not only are we seeing growth by 6% of our students, they're actually meeting a higher threshold in the winter than they did in the fall. So we are seeing some promising growth in that area. In regards to the academic core, we've really been working on that tier 1 core since we returned from COVID and getting that core strong. Some of the data points that we look at to monitor this particular goal include the common formative assessments that our collaborative teams create to check as checkpoints for students, the unit assessments at the end of each unit, any performance tasks that might be a part of the unit of study. We look at grades. We have some standardized assessments that we give in reading and math. And we are ISASP, that end of the year summative assessment. They've released some new practice items. So we're using those as an instructional tool as well. So just to take a look at one data point here, you can see A reading scores looking at 3.5, 6.7, and 8.9. Just incremental growth, holding steady, and a little bit of a drop. We know that the reading gets a lot more complex as students go through the grades. So we'll continue to work in that area to support our learners with their reading. College and career readiness. Some of the data points that we look at are FAFSA completion and the ICAP tasks. That's the former I Have a Plan, the career planning tool that we use. These are the areas that are looked at in ICAP and in planning decisions. For FAFSA completion, right now we're at 38%. And our goal, of course, is to get that higher by the end of the year. I'll talk about strategies and activities here in just a minute, some things that we have happening to help students get that done. And then for grade 9, which has a big focus on career and skills, there are 4 lessons that students, we try to have them do by the end of the school year. You can see the 4 lessons, and at this point, 96% of the 9th graders have completed all 4 of those lessons. Climate and culture, as we look at that goal, some of the data points we look at are attendance, office referrals, positive acknowledgements, PBIS assemblies, and goal setting. And I shared a data point here. You can see the average daily attendance, which is starting to rebound a little bit since COVID. So getting it up over that 90% point and aiming towards that 95% point as we move forward. But we're seeing a bit of a rebound there. So these are some of the strategies and actions. Some of these were started as part of the original district plan, and some of the things, as we've looked at our monitoring data, we make adjustments and emphasize different areas based on the data. In early literacy, we're working on structured literacy, which I know a lot of you have seen in the board visits as we look at the letter components, phonemic awareness, phonics, building word fluency. We're revisiting our scope and sequence at K2 to make sure that the introduction of those structured literacy skills match the language comprehension and vocabulary development that we have in our current unit plan. And then we're also, right now, we just got done with that mid-year data. I should have put an asterisk by the data because I think we have about 98% of our students. We have just a few to take it yet. We analyze that data and align reading support with students who need additional support. For the academic core, as we shared earlier, we had some professional learning from Solution Tree that again was focused on Tier 1 core instruction, focused on the standards during that learning and the level of performance. So really looking at the level and the rigor of the standard and making sure our tasks support students in getting to that point. And looking at standards-based learning and those learning progressions, identifying where students are and providing them the support to move forward. College and career readiness. We have a college planning and financial aid night coming up soon, career fair at the end of this month, and we have several sessions for FAFSA support. I know the DMAT coordinator is working with students to have that. We're having another night in March where students can come in, and I hear there's going to be swag, so I want all of our college seniors to hear that. And also working with the RISE group just to get some ideas from them on what is needed to best help students completing that. We all know how much fun that document is. So then culture and climate, Amy Anderson has been leading an attendance task force as we look at areas to work with communities and families, to increase attendance and the importance of being in school each day. Our teachers provide wonderful instruction, as you have seen on your visits, and we want to make sure that healthy students are there to maximize those instructional experiences. And we continue our work with PBIS, Leader in Me, as well as Olveus and Mentors in Violence Prevention. So these are things that are part of our district improvement plan and things that we are emphasizing and focusing more based on the data and things that we continue to add as we move forward. So that is a mid-year look at our progress towards our goals. What questions do you have?
It's a great update. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, because I know we have other stuff coming up this evening, I'm going to, in just a moment, ask for a motion, but I want to tell everybody thank you. I know there were 48 reading aloud spots filled today at 4 Mile Elementary, and I know I have a lot of you to say thank you for that as well. I know lots of people in the community showed up and filled those read out loud spots at 4 Mile Elementary. So thank you very much. And can I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll move that we adjourn.
Thank you.